your sons as if they were my own. All right, I've inherited a lot more children today, last week, etc. We've been working this past week. I'm going to treat them as they're my own. I'm going to hold the expectations and hold them accountable. All right, I look at it as an extension of your parenting. You all have your house rules; those are going to apply. I might have a few extra house rules for me, but you can rest easy knowing that your sons are with me. I'm going to take care of them like they're my own. That you don't have to worry about them when they're with me. And in summer and in season, they'll probably see more of me than they do of you. If we're working out in the morning, we've got practice, we have film on Thursdays and Fridays. I don't see my family too much. I see all your sons. All right. With that, clear communication is very important to me. I'm going to be clear with my communication to all of you, to the team, but I expect that in return. And this is not only on the football field. This isn't just talking about, hey coach, why aren't I getting as many reps as I did? This is in the classroom. This is in life. This is everything. Trying to mold your sons, my sons, into people that we can turn around and be very proud of when they're off to college, when they run over to the gas station between workouts and they've got Sun Valley football stuff on. The gas station attendant is excited to see him come in. They know they're going to be dealing with 10 very respectful young men, yes sirs, no mans, etc. Flipping over here to kind of scheduling. Scheduling is a year-round process for me. I've already got my calendar set out to March 2021. I'm always a year out. I'm not going to share that with all of you right away, but you can rest assured that the schedule is being worked on, constantly evolving, and I'm going to share that with all of you. I've made some copies of our March calendar for workouts, etc., just to keep you all in the loop. Again, going back to that, I'm going to treat them as my own. I think it's important that if we're on the same page, hey, we have workouts at this time or from here to here, there's no disconnect for pickup times. There's no, hey, you said you were at practice, but coach emailed out, said there wasn't practice. We're not going to have any sort of confusion of, playing one against the other. A lot of the updates I'll send out, it's quick to send out an email. It's also quick to tweet something out. That'll be a lot of last-minute updates with weather changes, any last-minute changes. That's kind of how I'll communicate that out to all of you via email, Twitter. It's much quicker nowadays than a phone call. All right, again, expectations of the players. Be present, be willing to learn and accept coaching. At no point, I tell this to the kids all the time, if I am yelling on the field, it's probably because I am 50 yards away from you, and I'm going to walk 50 yards over there, to have to walk 50 yards back, I'm just going to yell it across the field. We're gonna do it on the fly. It's never a personal attack. And I'm not typically very loud. I can be when I need to be, but for the most part, just accept the coaching from all the coaches and put the team first. If that comes on a punt return, hey, we need you to return this punt. We're here. Okay, I don't want to do that. No, okay. Can you help the team? So getting a little bit deeper into overall philosophies, kind of my overall program, big core values are discipline, hard work, and accountability. The discipline, not skipping reps in the weight room is the quickest thing that comes to mind. Hard work, when we say X, Y, and Z, X, Y, and Z is being accomplished. It's not going to be easy, but it's going to get accomplished. And accountability, if I ask you to do something, you ask me to do something, I'm going to follow through with it. I expect the same from the kids. We're very big on technique and fundamentals. Those are the two simplest things that a lot of people forget about. If your technique and your fundamentals are sound, you're going to win a lot of football games. Being prepared. A lot of that comes back on the coaches, watching film, preparing the guys. I spend a lot of time watching film and sending notes out via huddle, via little packets for the kids. Be prepared. Study that up. If we know what we're going to see on Friday night, it's going to make our lives a lot easier. And just be the best that you can be. At no point am I going to ask you to have the out-of-body experience. At no point am I gonna, put 225 onto the bench press if you're a freshman and say, go, do it. Be the best that you can be. If that's squatting good form at 95 pounds, squat with great form at 95 pounds, and we'll build that up. Offensively, 10, 20, and 21 personnel groups. Basically, spread, two back, tight end, full back formations. A very diverse grouping, very simple to learn, very simple to teach. We can have multiple layers of it. Establish a power running game, especially in high school football with a running game. You are preparing to win playoff games if you have a strong run game. Making high percentage passes. At no point, are we going to put the kids in position to fail. So I think if we're going to make a high percentage pass, that's when we can take our shots down the field. Control the line of scrimmage and maintain possession of the football. Again, that's huge in high school football. If you can do these 5 things on the offensive side of the ball, you're gonna see offensive success. Defensively, you can break this thing down into 4 things: being aggressive, alignment, assignment, and adjustments. We're going to be aggressive to the football. We're going to be aggressive in tackling. We're going to line up and have proper alignment at all times. We're going to know our assignment. Assignment-based football. If your assignment is the strong side A gap and the play goes for the strong side A gap, that's who I'm going to hold accountable for that. The guy that was supposed to be in the strong side A gap. And then being able to adjust. When this isn't working, what are we going to do? How are we going to adjust? What are we going to change? The old bend but don't break philosophy. Don't give up the big play. Drives are going to happen. If we can hold teams to a field goal inside the 10, that's a 4-point swing for us. We're going to force opponents to have drives of 8 plus plays to score. That's the goal. Overall average, if it takes you 8 plays to score, the defense was on the field for a long time. That offense has been tired out. Playing fast, physical, and we're going to match what the offense has given us. Again, that comes back to the coaching standpoint of we've got to be prepared for the different formations we can see so that the kids can play fast and physical on Friday night. All right, middle school involvement, I think it's going to be imperative for us. Having varsity coaches stopping by the middle school practices. I think it's important to create those relationships early on with the middle school kids. I'd like to see the middle school teams running a similar scheme to the varsity program so that when they come in as freshmen, it's not a foreign concept to them. Middle school coaches involved in Friday Night Lights. Again, form those relationships with the coaches. The kids are at the game and they see their coach on the sidelines on Friday night. I think that's very important for them. The middle school camps, continuing that, run by the varsity staff. So again, starting to create those relationships. Middle school weightlifting twice a week on the high school campus. I think it's something that is very important so they're familiar with the weight room. We're going to have a big focus on the weight room. Let's go ahead and start that process now. It's not going to be anything crazy. We're not going to ask a 6th grader to power clean, but we're going to start the foundations of doing things the right way. Again, so when they come in, they're comfortable with me, they're comfortable with the coaching staff. Again, weight room. All success can directly be traced back to the weight room. At any given point, if you are the bigger, faster, than the stronger team, your odds of winning dramatically increase. Just as the weight room is optional, so is winning. I tell that to anybody that will listen. If you want to see success, come to the weight room. The success will follow. I can promise you that. All right, so a lot of people ask why the mornings. For the time being, as I'm commuting back and forth, the mornings are really kind of the only time we have where we're not going to have an hour dead period of me getting back over here. But there's a lot of other reasons why the mornings started and why I continue the mornings. We can all be together. There's no before school sports. There's no, no one's working before school. It gets you mentally tough. Waking up and working out at 6 a.m. in the morning, it's not easy. Your body is fresh, you get your better results. This is scientifically proven. When your body is fresh, you can increase your muscle usage early on, get your metabolism running. Again, that's the opportunity to eat more. Proper fuel, if you're looking to gain weight, if you're eating more, you're going to gain weight. My biggest thing, it's going to learn to prioritize your time. Yeah, you got to get up in the morning. You don't need to stay up playing video games. Get your homework done, go to bed, wake up, rinse and repeat. It frees up your afternoons to go to tutoring. You got more time to invest in spending time with your family, more time in the community. We can do community service events in the afternoons instead of going to the weight room. You're able to play other sports. I did three sports in high school. It was the greatest time of my life. I would hate to say, hey, I don't think you should run track. I think you should lift weights. No, you can do both. I encourage you to do both. If you want to play baseball, absolutely, I support it 110%. You want to play lacrosse? Again, I support it 110%. You want to play basketball? Absolutely. You being an athlete is going to be paramount to our success, and I encourage you to play outside sports. You know, don't focus on football. You're going to get exhausted. Change it up a little bit. You can work out your school. If you're at workouts on time, you're going to get the first block on time. You're going to get to school, period. Attendance goes up, your grades go up, and you know, successful people typically do not sleep in. The one con that I could think of was that we had to wake up earlier. And that's kind of why I've stuck in the mornings. I think these pros here kind of overweigh the one con of waking up early. Here's a quick little contact information, my Union County email address. Again, as I'm not in the building just yet, here's my office line over at CATA, and on Twitter is @_Coach Hackett. Again, you know, feel free to utilize these to contact me at any time. Take photos if you like, so you have it. Again, we are very excited to be here. I'm very excited to be a part of your son's lives, and I'm very excited for the next chapter here in Sun Valley football. See a couple more here to take some photos. So, yeah, thank you. I just kind of went back to this. I'll flip back to that side here.
You want to open up a question, Coach?
Yep, we can open up for questions for sure. I'll also start passing this out in different avenues here. It's just our March calendar, like I told you guys I've got for you. Again, you'll see a lot of the mornings. One big change was I did add back in those Wednesdays, because that'll enable us to have the, what I call the team challenge on Friday morning. That's where we get it, you know, take not a break, but we're able to do different competitions within the team. Coaches will divide up the team of who's there, and we're going to get after it. Whether that's, you know, tug of war, flipping tires, etc. But that'll still enable us to get 4 days of weightlifting, and then that fifth day will be a little bit more of a fun, interactive relationship building exercises, etc. But yeah, I'll open up to any questions.
What's your long-term goal for the program?
To be an annual contender where you guys don't have Thanksgiving Day plans.
Quite past Thanksgiving, but, I mean, my question is, you got a son who's gonna be a sophomore. I understand life changes and things move and coaching, you're always trying to look for a better opportunity. My concern is, looking at past resumes, looking at past things that you've done, feels like it's a 2-year bounce. What do we have to make sure we're not going to have a 2-year bounce? Because that puts him at his senior year.
I completely
And I understand you talk to the seniors, I get it, but we also got to talk to the underclassmen as well.
The juniors I talked to, the rising seniors.
I understand that, but
So, if you look at where I've been, it all made logistical sense for me and my family at the time. West Charlotte, going to Huff, you know, West Charlotte was 0-11 when I got there, we went to 5-7, go on to Huff, 12-2, playoff team, become a head coach. Get back to the Charlotte area, I mean, tell me what's better than Sun Valley football. You know, and so,
yeah, but
and so with that, well, I'm gonna finish, please. You know, there is, logically, this is where I want to be. I own a house 12 minutes away. You know, I'm married in December. I've made promises to my family, my wife, that, no, this is where I want to be. And, you know, you can see the past, but logically, in my opinion, there's not a better place to be than here. The diversity, the support that Dr. Harvey's pledged, Coach King, back here, This is, I truly feel like this is gonna be a hotbed for high school football. And for me to lead that is an unbelievably amazing opportunity for me and my family. I have, for me to sell a house after just buying it, it made no sense, So this is where my future is at.
I have a couple of questions. My
Okay.
name's Amy Shulkin. Nice to meet you and welcome. I'd like to know more about what's going on with the stadium and how much you will be involved with it.
Want me to take that, Drew? So it's it's kind of the question that if you wish you had a nickel for every time it was asked, because I could retire right now. So what's going on with the stadium is if you've noticed recently that they've done a lot more of the sidewalk work, and that's going to allow the inspections to be done on the field house, on the concession stands. When the original drawings were submitted, there was no code for having access to the roofs of those buildings. Now, since those buildings were drawn, the codes have changed that we have to have permanent access on those buildings because we have ventilation units on top of those. So that's kind of slowing us down to get the equipment attached to those buildings. Once those are attached and permanently structured, we'll be allowed to go forward with the inspection process, okay? So that's kind of holding us up. Sidewalks holding us up because of the 158 inches of rain that we've had in March, or not March, February and March, I guess. But the other thing is we've had some issues with drainage on the stadium field. And very honestly, if you've noticed lately, they've started to put a new draining system around the perimeter of the football field. That's been done, I think, 3/4 of the way is done already. They're putting a French drain system in. What was happening is the rain was sitting on the field and it was going down to a point where it was missing the drain that was installed. So we're going to have a 2-layer drainage system. One will be, kind of here, catch that water that we don't catch on the original, and one will be on the track to catch some of the water that's just surface level water too. So what actually is going to happen is we'll probably have one of the driest fields in the county when all of this is done, but it was something that was unforeseen by the contractors that we use for the grading and what they call undercutting and proof rolling, and I've learned lots of things about construction in the last 1.5 years here. And that's a mistake that the contracting company has made, and they're owning up to it. But it's come at the cost of us not being able to play in the stadium. I foresee us, and I know I've said this before, I foresee this being behind us by the time we get out of school. So come July 1, when we're allowed to get on the field after that dead period in the spring, we'll be allowed to get on that field for summer workouts if we want to use that field, which we're going to try to protect that field as much as possible. But as far as our first home opener, which I think is August 20th, 28th, it's against Central Cabarrus. That's our plan, to play in that stadium. And I'll be very upset if we don't get to do that. Now, I know the spring sports teams, the women's soccer team, the men's lacrosse team, the track team, I'm forgetting some others, the women's lacrosse team, we've had to reschedule their whole season this spring. It's not easy, it's not fun. It's a big source of frustration for parents, it's a big source of frustration for me as the principal, but I think the one that breaks our heart the most is the kids. Because there are a lot of kids who are going to miss out on that opportunity. And such is life, unfortunately. Life deals us a lot of blows sometimes, and this is one of them.
Yeah, I understand that. I think everything you said is I understand, but the last part you said is, yeah, life, we have changes, ups and downs, that's how life is. But we saw what happened for the JV and varsity, but we saw what happened last year for the seniors. And so, are you saying there may be a chance where, that it'll happen again?
What will happen again?
That, we
We
may
won't
not.
play on that stadium?
Yeah, because you had said that.
There's always a chance, Amy. I'll be honest with you, You know, tornadoes could come through, hurricane could come through, those things could happen, so I can't say there's not a chance. But as far as construction goes, we're on pace to be finished with that project by the time we get out of school.
Yeah, it was really, really hard, like you said, for everybody, just for the kids having to travel every game, getting on the bus, you know, so, fingers
You know,
crossed.
and one of the things that I, you know, my son plays too, and my son wants to play lacrosse on this field this spring, and he's not a senior, but he's a junior, he's a junior, but they still want that. And I keep telling him, it's great to have a football stadium, but there are a lot of kids in this world, not just in North Carolina, not just in the United States, but across this world, who don't have the luxuries that we have. This is a small problem in the grand scheme of life. And you may feel differently about it, but to me, it's a problem that we have to live with. It's a part of life, and it deals us blows. Yes, sir.
Are they gonna have to resod it or that?
Only the part where they dug up. And it's just probably about 3 yards wide, and it goes all the way around the field. Thank you for that question, and I'm sorry to jump in and address that, but I don't think Coach Hackett has the background information that I have about the stadium. I'll turn it back over to you, Coach.
All right.
Other questions?
Me again, do you have, your coaching staff, settled yet or hired, or is that in the works? And when will we be able to meet your staff?
So it is in the works. I've recently just completed speaking with all the previous coaches. That was important to me. I try to maintain continuity between staffs whenever there's a change. This isn't the NFL. This isn't college where, oh, bye, I have $5.7 million to sign coaches with. This is people's livelihoods and passions. I have offered all of them to return. Some of them are taking time to decide. Some accepted on the spot. Once I've gotten back from all of them is when we will evaluate and see where we're at. Once I hear back from the remaining coaches that have not gotten back to me. And then, and then I'll kind of start that process over of meeting with coaches that are interested. And again, there's a lot that goes into it, in building, lay coaches, do we have spots in buildings, and so there's a lot that goes into it. Ideally, I would love to get things rolling, but there's so much that goes into it, and I also don't want to, rush into anything. I want to vet the people that I would bring in, because if I'm going to add them to my family and let them be around your sons, I want to make sure that they're the best thing for your sons. And so it'll be a little bit slower process than we would like, but once we kind of have it, I'll have a giant staff meeting with all the coaches, and then we can probably do another sort of football event to meet the new coaches, or touch base with the previous coaches that have stayed on.
Do we know who is going to stay from before, as far as the coaching staff? Or guaranteed that it's going to stay?
Yeah, so Coach.
Wait, let's just wait till that's all said, yeah. What we just respect, a couple of people are waiting. If we left their names out, you would know, why. So we'll announce that when Coach is ready to announce that. And I told Coach, just so y'all know, I hire head coaches. I don't hire assistant coaches. So that's been his decision on who he wants to put on his staff.
When you make that decision, you'll make a decision who's JV coach, who's going to be doing that.
So if you are a varsity coach, you'll also be coaching JV. It's going to be a total program. Yep. It's a total in. So if you see us Thursday night, you're going to see us Friday night, vice versa.
What's your summer program gonna be like?
Summer program, I'm currently batting around with 2 options. And I've actually spoken with the guys in the morning to kind of get their feedback. I think that's important. A lot of them work, a lot of them have a social life, and I understand that. It's their summer, I get it. So we're currently going back and forth, you know, kind of narrowed it down to two options. One 3-hour session where we'll be in the weight room and condition for about an hour and a half, and then go out to the field for about an hour and a half of practice. And that can be morning or evening. We might, and some have said, well, we can mix it, you know, and I said, okay. And the other option will be weights in the morning, practice in the evenings. And it will be Monday through Thursday. We'll have, barring any 7-on-7 tournaments, they will have Friday, Saturday, and Sunday off throughout the summer until we get to August 1.
Is there any break after graduation, or you started up, like, you graduated, I mean, I say it's the 9th, or you started up on the 10th,
So I've got it down, I'm trying to think, I'm sorry. They've added those work days correct on that Friday and that Monday. So we'll start, I think I've got it that Thursday and that Friday, Wednesday and Thursday, that week of graduation in the evening, so that we've got teacher work days. But that'll be where we'll start the Friday off, Saturday off, Monday off, and then we'll go on that, the June, I believe it's 15th. We'll have practice in the evening because of the teacher work day, and we'll be in that week. And then the dead weeks for the summer, July 4th falls on a Saturday, so it's the week prior. I think it's like June 28th to July 5th. And then, and it's different this year, there's a 2-week on period, and then so 2 weeks after that in July is the dead week. I get those dates for you. The week of the 20th is the.
June 29th. July 20th.
Yeah, June 29th week and July 20th are the 2 dead weeks where we won't have anything for those 10 days. Obviously, hope you enjoy time with your family during that time, and I'll be in Greensboro that second week.
So that's July the 20th or July 20th?
Yes.
Yes.
You all know that the start of school is pushed back this year later than it's ever been that I can recall in 22 years, which means we'll probably, I think it's 3 games we'll have before school starts? Two games we'll have before school starts, including our home opener. Yes, ma'am.
The start, when's the first one?
The first football game?
21st?
21st.
Will you know scrimmages beforehand, are we gonna have that on the calendar?
Yes, yeah, it'll be, I've actually been in talks with a couple schools today about getting dates down. We'll probably have a jamboree that Friday or that Saturday, I think it's 14th or 15th, and then we'll probably have a one-on-one scrimmage, it's either the 10th or the 11th, depending on.
And then what about like JV, will JV and varsity have the same scrimmage, or will they have separate scrimmages?
It'll be the same scrimmage.
I have a son who does summer travel ball, baseball. It's a crazy schedule, June and July. So is he expected to be at every, I mean, it's kind of hard because there are workouts, they do summer workouts too, that are summer morning, summer afternoon.
If he's in town and available, I would love to have him in here, but if he's at summer ball, he's at summer ball.
He just needs to let you know in advance.
Yes, yep. Yes,
So for ninth graders, or rising ninth
right,
graders,
okay.
when did they start with you guys?
In the summer, once the graduation has occurred and they have been enrolled, and we'll just need the physicals and the paperwork, yep.
All right.
Can't give you a date too. June 6th is a physical day, will be the pre-physical day, Saturday, June 6th. More information will come out, but you want to know that now. Physical pre-physical. My suggestion would be, even if you don't need the physical, just go get it. You don't have to worry about if you slip up during the year or the coach slips up, will be have an expired physical. If you get it June 6th, then we know it's good for the whole entire year.
Speaking of physical, last year we gave everything to the trainer.
is there gonna be information about the new, like, a new trainer?
Yeah, the new trainer started already. She's working with our spring sports, doing a great job, bang-up job. And, you know, as we transition from spring to summer, she'll do the same thing she's doing right now. She'll get with all the coaches, sit down about when the physicals expire, any medical issues that, the head coaches need to be aware of, like, asthma or allergic to this, that, whatever else. But she's done a great job. Novon is a tremendous partner with Union County Public Schools, and they do a very good job of training their athletic trainers. Yes, ma'am.
When will the Family ID open for them to register for the?
Family ID, Troy.
With July, so usually July, but July 1st being the dead week, I don't know, but it always opens up beginning of July.
Beginning of July.
So it might not be July 1st, it might be the 6th, but that's when they restart.
And then with all the communication, I promise, I'll have emails in the summer that I'll send out with all this information way in advance, once we kind of get dates nailed down of these. Family ID is now open, you're good to go, and physical dates, et cetera. This will all be over-communicated to you as we progress.
One question, are we getting a new weight room?
We are.
I never got an answer from my child, but he didn't know, so I have no clue.
It's,
Are y'all just gonna share the wrestling gym forever, so I didn't know.
Yeah, so they had to replace the weight room because they tore down the old field house, so it's in the new bus lot area. You can see it's fenced off already. They're gonna start pouring the footers here probably in the next week or so. They've already blocked off the one exit that we had to go out that way so they can bring their heavy machinery in. So we're excited about that. It's gonna be 3,200 square foot weight room. We're gonna be working with our booster club to bring in some new weight equipment. That's some of our stuff is great and some of it's kind of outdated. So we're gonna be looking at spending some money on that. So it's good and bad, and one of the things we try to do is always find the positive, even in a difficult situation. But not having a home stadium this year has saved us money. Okay, as a booster club, we haven't had to spend as much money as we would have for maintenance on the field, for example, is one example there. So the booster club, if you're not active in the booster club, I encourage you to get active in the booster club. We actually have a meeting next Tuesday, and so I would encourage you to come out and support your booster club. We're having an election here to name the new president. Amy Ellis will be rotating off the board. We have a very strong executive board with Michael Lineberry and some other folks on there, Shay Nygaard, and the gentleman's name? Todd, thank you, Todd. They're great, and they're doing a phenomenal job, but they're doing 95% of the work with just a few people. So with the turnout we have here tonight, I want to just encourage you parents to get involved in the booster club to help us out. And there's some things that we want to do to make our stadium special when we do open it with some of that money, including our weight training facility, flags and identifiers that make it a Spartan stadium, a true Spartan stadium. So we'd love your input on that. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I was just wondering, Coach, I know it's your first year, but with the middle school football program, I know you mentioned on your slideshow that you're going to try and have some interaction with this. Is it just going to be a watered-down version of your playbook? How much do you anticipate being able to interact with the coaches and players through the summer and through the season?
Through the summer, a very large amount. Watered down version, maybe a simplistic version where, hey, like, what do you have? Like, what do you view as being successful? Let's, these formations have worked, and almost like and then having coaching clinics where the middle school coaches and I and my staff can all sit around and talk and say, we've done this in the past and it's worked tremendously. We've done this at different schools, and hey, try this. So it's kind of a melting pot of ideas, and then so that as they progress, through say 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, they're running similar styles through there, and when they come in as freshmen, they're like, hey, I know that guy. Oh, pro, right? I know that formation, and similar terms of hey, wedge. Oh, I know that play, and so that they come in very comfortable and ready to ask questions, so that we can then focus more on technique and fundamentals of improving it there.
Thank you.
What is your plan for meeting with the middle school coaches and the middle school lift for
Again, trying to get down different dates for everything for the school, getting contact information, and setting up mutual times to meet and do things, but also following the state rules and policies.
There are-
You mentioned volunteer, community service, I think that's a great idea. What do you have in mind for that? Is it like cleaning up the road in front of the school, or is it visiting nursing homes or things like that? I mean, I think it's good to get the voice out there in the community.
A little bit of everything. Just, yeah, there's construction ongoing, but, we can also clean up certain areas. And once we're kind of allowed down there, we can beautify the field house and do things like that, but also getting in the community and doing, the visits to soup kitchens and nursing homes and just different things, different avenues to kind of get them out and to the public.
I know last year they used to do a lot with the elementary school, and I think that the elementary school kids really liked it too. And so I think that maybe should be continued.
Yep, absolutely. Doing the Spartan walk type deal where it's like, oh,
Yeah.
you're a little Spartan type deal, and then, just pumping them up on a random school day or even a testing day type deal.
Any other questions for Coach?
Welcome to the valley.
Thank you, yes, very excited.
Ethan, got a question?
Do you plan on having midnight madness?
Oh, yeah.
We'll talk about that. Last time we had Midnight Madness, we lost a player for the entire season. A very good player. So, that's Coach's decision, but I'm gonna make sure we guide each other on that.
Yes, go.
Coach, a couple years ago, we had 7-on-7 that was based out of Sun Valley kids, and that kind of went away the last year and a half or so, I guess, maybe. They're playing at different organizations. Are you going to encourage a 7-on-7 based on our team?
Like the school-based 7-on-7 through the summer, yes, yeah.
Okay.
Yep, that'll be a big push to kind of, especially in my first year of getting concepts and things learned, yep.
Yeah. Thank you all for coming out tonight. If you want to stop by and introduce yourself to Coach on your way out, appreciate you being here. Happy to answer